Welcome back. Now, the Namibia Civil Aviation Authority's Executive Director, Toska Sem, has been appointed as the second Vice Chairperson of the Technical Commission of the International Civil Aviation Organization. Now, she now joins us in the studio to talk to us about this appointment. Welcome to Namibia Connect, Toska.
Thank you very much, Salima.
All right, and congratulations.
And thank you very much for the warm congratulatory remarks.
Indeed. So just to start off on your appointment, perhaps just take us through that, and also just what does this role mean to you personally, and just for Namibia also standing in the international aviation as well.
Thank you. Allow me first just to give context to what the 42nd International Civil Aviation Organization Assembly entails.
Of course.
This is basically a triennium event that takes place every third year. And I really want to extend my sincere thanks to the government of the Republic of Namibia under the stewardship of our shareholder and Honorable Minister, Honorable Vice Chairperson, who accredited Namibia to participate in this venture. And for myself, it's really a humble honor to have received this recognition. It was a mammoth task. It was on the margin of the 42nd ICAO Assembly, which was held in Montreal, Canada, on the 23rd of September until the 3rd of October. This recognition really echoed the commitment of Namibia as a member state of ICAO and affirmed our commitment in terms of advancing safety and aviation on the African continent.
Just what it means to you personally.
Personally, what it means to me, it was really a great recognition and an honor. It also allowed me to boost my leadership characteristics.
Indeed.
It was really an honor for me to chair this particular event, as it was just meant for the particular event during the ICAO Assembly. And most importantly, as a woman, this was really a beacon of showing leadership that us as African women on the continent, we can make it happen. And it's not only Namibia that received this recognition. I must also congratulate my fellow colleagues, the Director General of Sierra Leone and the Director General of Cameroon and the DG also of Rwanda. We are amongst the 4 African member states that were awarded this particular achievements and recognition to lead the Assembly technical commissions and to allow smooth discussions when it comes to matters of aviation on air navigation services and security services.
Indeed. Now, Toska, the Technical Commission plays a central role in analyzing working papers on aviation safety and air navigation services. Now, what are your immediate priorities in this new position?
Maybe let me just indicate that this position was awarded during the ICAO Assembly.
Okay.
It ended there.
Okay.
It was really myself taking up the vice chairmanship in leading the discussions which are on the working papers, which cemented issues of air navigation services, safety security services, which have an impact on the African continent, issues dealing with airport management, issues dealing with personal licensing, airworthiness, flight operations. And these were the fundamental papers that we had to deliberate with 192 member states of the ICAO from an international perspective. And the discussions and the purpose of this technical committee is basically to deliberate on the standards which we internationally as member states need to adhere to in the near future. These working papers were discussed and they are now being refined for the ICAO to send out directives to member states for us to start implementing and adhering to these Chicago Conventions. And that was basically the purpose for us to, as African representative who were nominated on the respective committees, to safeguard the interest of Africa, to really see how does Africa participate in the space of aviation. And this was really the time for Africa to showcase and to advocate our voice in terms of us being instrumental to advance aviation safety on the international platform.
Indeed. Now, what do you consider to be the most significant challenges facing the aviation industry today, and also just both globally and within the African continent?
From an aviation perspective, we all have common challenges. And one of the biggest challenges that we have is the skills development in aviation. Namibia as well, even the Civil Aviation Authority, Namibia Airports Company, we are faced with the challenge of keeping our capacitated workforce. Obviously, in aviation, there's a process where we have to undergo compliant training, refresher training courses. And as a Civil Aviation Authority, we have seen quite a significant turnover of staff members, which are being poached to Australia, to Dubai. And this is not only unique to Namibia, it's a matter which is quite eminent in South Africa and most of the world. And part of our discussion was also to say, how do we develop the next generation in aviation in terms of the working papers? That is really one of our biggest challenge that we are facing. And secondly, infrastructure development, airport infrastructure development is quite a challenge because this enables the facilitation of air services, which also has a component of reducing cost. And the other issues that we are also considering, most specifically for African member states, it's advanced technology. Advanced technology plays a very, very seamless role in terms of the facilitation of our passengers through the airport, where Namibia at this point in time, we are having the advanced passenger development process underway. And we're hoping that this technology can really be intensified and for the Ministry of Home Affairs to really allow such technology to come onto our airport as it just assists in the fast facilitation through immigration to avoid long queues and also looking at your baggage controls and also looking at security measures. These are really the issues that us as African states should try to accelerate and to see how technology can enable and create a more friendly environment to our passengers as they facilitate through our airports.
Toska, will you say that technologically, perhaps when it comes to aviation in Africa or in Namibia, we are a bit behind?
We're not so much behind. We are still working at the pace of what is internationally recognized. But I can say there is room for us to do better. And there is room for us to invest into more advanced technology, which can assist us in facilitating our passengers at a faster rate. As you know, in the bigger worlds of your Dubais and your Dohas, you just drop your bags and off you go. But now we have lots of queues in terms of passengers queuing up and to check in and still go through immigration control. Others are using biometrics, which is a much, much faster pace in terms of security controls. And these are the discussions that we held at the technical committee for us to say, in terms of technology, what is it that we can do, but based on standards which are achievable and also less expensive to African countries given our financial situations.
Indeed. Now, what would you say is the long-term vision for the future of civil aviation in Namibia and just Southern Africa region in general?
The long-term vision for Namibia and Southern Africa, I'll couple that with my second hat, as I'm currently the Vice President for the Southern region, representing SADC on the African Civil Aviation Commission. And our biggest agenda under the African Union flagship project, which is being implemented by AFCAC, which we call the African Civil Aviation Commission, we really want to advance the agenda of the single African air transport market, where we want airlines to fly freely within the African space. And in my role as Executive Director of the Namibia Civil Aviation Authority is really to see that regulations when it comes to consumer protection is put in place, where consumers are able to be protected. If you buy a ticket and you cancel, what are those parameters and how do we safeguard the interest of our consumers? And secondly, also to look at consideration of competition, where our airlines cannot outprice each other, but really offer competitive price and also ensure seamless travel within Namibia itself and also the region. And when it comes to single African air transport market, we also have bilateral air service agreement templates that we have issued to African states for us to allow airlines to pick passengers from one country, drop passengers from another country, and ferry them to another country. But from an aviation terminology, we call that fifth freedom, because that becomes a success of opening up routes, connecting regional cities and allowing more seamless travel, shorter travel, and less airfares, because aviation is normally perceived to be for the elites, but our long-term agenda is to say aviation should become a necessity, a different mode of transport, and we must also appreciate that aviation is actually the most safest mode of travel, specifically if we have to compare to the roads accidents in Namibia.